Once upon a time, in a quiet town where the mornings smelled of fresh coffee and the evenings felt slow and golden, there lived a man named Daniel Harper. Daniel was a high school teacher. He was known for his patience, for his calm voice, for the way he looked at students like they mattered. If someone felt anxious before an exam, they went to Daniel. If someone was bullied, they went to Daniel. If someone felt invisible, he noticed. He had a gift. He made people feel heard. But when someone asked him how he was doing, he always gave the same answer. "I'm fine." And he said it with a small smile, convincing, polite, closed. Years earlier, Daniel had lost his younger brother, Michael. It was sudden, an accident, the kind of phone call that splits your life into before and after. Before that night, Daniel laughed loudly. He made plans. He dreamed about traveling with his brother someday. After that night, something inside him went quiet. He didn't cry much, not in public, not in front of his parents, not in front of anyone. He told himself he needed to be strong. Strong for his family, strong for his students, strong for everyone. So when people asked, "How are you holding up?" he answered, "I'm fine." And slowly, those two words became a wall. Time passed. Seasons changed. Students graduated. Life moved forward. Daniel became even better at helping others. He started an after-school support group. He stayed late to listen. He wrote encouraging notes on assignments. "You are capable. You matter. Don't be so hard on yourself." He meant every word. But at night, when he returned to his small apartment, the silence was heavy. He would sit on the edge of his bed, the room dim, the world quiet. And that's when the memories came. Michael laughing, Michael teasing him, Michael calling him Big Brother in that playful tone. Daniel would swallow the ache, stand up, turn on the TV. Noise was easier than feeling. One afternoon, a student named Caleb stayed behind after class. Caleb was usually cheerful, but that day, his eyes were red. "Mr. Harper," he said quietly, "can I ask you something?" Daniel pulled a chair closer. "Of course." Caleb hesitated. "My dad says I shouldn't cry, that it makes me weak, but I feel like I'm going to explode if I don't." Daniel felt something tighten in his chest. He recognized that feeling. Caleb looked at him carefully. "Do you ever feel like that?" The question hung in the air. For a moment, Daniel almost said it. "I'm fine." The words were ready, automatic. But something in Caleb's eyes stopped him. The boy wasn't asking as a student. He was asking as a human being. Daniel looked down at his hands. "Yes," he said softly, "I do." Caleb blinked. "You do?" Daniel nodded. "There are things I never talk about, things that hurt, and sometimes I pretend they don't." Caleb swallowed. "What happens if you don't pretend?" Daniel didn't have an answer, because he had never truly tried. That evening, Daniel walked home slower than usual. The sky was painted in soft orange, the air cool against his skin. He thought about strength. He thought about the version of himself he had been trying to protect. When he reached his apartment, he didn't turn on the TV. He didn't reach for distraction. Instead, he sat down in silence. And for the first time in years, he allowed the silence to stay. It was uncomfortable, heavy, sharp. Memories surfaced. The hospital hallway, the unanswered text, the last conversation. He couldn't remember clearly enough. Tears came. Not dramatic, not loud, just honest. And in that moment, Daniel realized something. He had been teaching courage every day, but he had not practiced it himself. The next week, during the after-school support group, Daniel did something unexpected. He shared a story. He told them about his brother. He told them how he avoided grief, how he hid behind "I'm fine," how pretending to be strong had made him lonely. The room was silent, but not uncomfortable. One by one, students began speaking about divorced parents, about anxiety, about fear, about sadness they had been carrying quietly. Something shifted in that room, not because Daniel had perfect advice, but because he was honest. Over the next few months, Daniel changed in small ways. When colleagues asked, "How are you?" sometimes he said, "It's been a tough week." When he felt overwhelmed, he didn't bury it. He wrote, he walked, he talked to a therapist. He visited Michael's favorite park, sat on the old bench they once shared. He spoke out loud, not to the air, but to his brother. "I miss you," he whispered. And instead of pushing the pain away, he let it exist beside him. It didn't destroy him. It softened him. Daniel didn't become a different man overnight. He still had hard days, moments when the old habit returned, when "I'm fine" slipped out easily. But now he noticed it. And sometimes he corrected himself. "Actually, I'm not fine, but I'm working on it." And that made all the difference. One afternoon, Caleb smiled at him after class. "You look lighter," the boy said. Daniel laughed softly. "I think I am. Because strength," he learned, "is not the absence of pain. It is the willingness to face it. It is the courage to say, 'I'm hurting, I'm human, I need help.' And sometimes, the bravest words a person can speak are not, 'I'm fine,' but simply, 'I'm not.'" And in a small town, where mornings still smelled like coffee and evenings still felt slow and golden, there lived a teacher who helped others heal. Not because he had no wounds, but because he finally stopped hiding them